Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share some watercolor tips and tricks, and also to show you guys what to do with the mermaid markers from Jane Davenport, because they're pretty similar to watercolor. They're a little bit more like ink. So we're kind of just going to play around and show you some differences and some different techniques that you can use. I want to start off by saying, I said this in another video I have, but I used to think that I really hated watercolor. It was just really difficult. It always came out with like little patches of pigment, and it just was really hard to get like a deep color out of your watercolor, even with very little water. And when I started trying to pick up watercolor again, I bought this palette from Paper Source. It is, I don't know, if I can find the brand, I'll put it in, but I feel like it's, you know, a reasonable like well-known brand. And I just want to show you guys like why I thought I hated watercolor. So I also recently bought the Jane Davenport watercolors. They are an investment. They're $30 per palette. They are available at Michael's. You can use a coupon on them to get 40% off. You can, you know, if that's out of your budget, I totally understand. I was unwilling to buy expensive watercolor for quite a while. But it has made a world of difference for me. So perhaps it would be a good birthday or Christmas gift idea for yourself. But I just want to show you real quick the difference between a couple of the colors. So I'm just using water, trying to get quite a bit of color. This is watercolor paper, and this is just cardstock. So that's just a plain red. So I'm going to clean my brush really well, and then I'm going to get my Jane Davenport red. Trying to get a decent amount of pigment. Okay, you should be able to see that just from the table, but look at this. Can you see how much different the colors are? I mean, I didn't do anything differently between those two. So again, this is the mixed media paper. It's thicker, it's meant to take wet pigments. And this is just cardstock. But look at that difference in color. Like, it's insane to me, but it is definitely worth the $15 to $20 in difference in price without the coupon. So I mean, I'm gonna try to get like a really dark red. Okay, it's a little bit darker. Can you see it? I mean, it's still, can you see the grains in the pigment? I mean, it's just incredible to me how much different the look is. So if you find that you've been like exasperated with watercolor and just like they're not doing anything for you, like honestly the blue is the worst one, so I will show you that as well. So trying to get quite a bit here. This is the Pentel or whatever brand this is, kind of a aqua blue. Cats are probably about to jump on the table because one of them is in the other one's spot. So I apologize in advance if it starts wiggling. Okay, Dutch, move along. Move along. Okay, I think this butterfly color here, I don't know if you guys can see that. Not quite. I think this butterfly color is going to be the closest. So I'm going to give that a shot. Okay, so again, here is the mixed media paper. I apologize guys if my light is not very good. I'm doing my best. I think it's gonna rain, so it's really cloudy, and I've got my light out on the table. Move around, Duchess. So just like look at that difference. in pigment. It's insane. I don't want you on my watercolors. Hey, hey, please move. Okay, gonna set you back there. And here is the regular cardstock. I mean, it's just insane how different these come apart. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one who's impressed. And that's okay. But I just wanted to show you guys, if you've been feeling like me and you try to use watercolor, and especially when you are doing something where you're adding a lot of water to it and you want it to like flow around and look really beautiful, it's so hard to maintain that pigment, especially if, you know, you're already having a hard time getting very much pigment. Like, this is pretty dark, but when I get out, my aqua brush is empty. When I get out my aqua brush, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I just have a hard time with it. I just feel like it's not very easy to manipulate. Already, that's much flowier. But check this out. I mean, it's actually going. Even the part where it started to dry. I don't know. It just works so much better for me. So I wanted to do a quick PSA about splurge versus save. So now that we're done with that, I wanted to show you guys a couple. And feel free, if you have questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. I'm not a watercolor expert. I usually use regular cardstock instead of mixed media paper because this is just more expensive. I don't really care to spend a ton of money on mixed media paper for my documenting, especially, which is usually when I do watercolor. So yeah, I'm not an expert. But if you have questions, I'm happy to try to answer them. Okay. So there are a couple techniques that are super easy that I learned recently that I'm just going to show you guys. And yeah, you can let me know what you think. So in order for paper to take pigments better, it's nice to use gesso. So I just have this Liquitex gesso, but you can find it at any craft store. If you ever took like a painting course, or if you're familiar with painting, gesso is what you use to prime the canvas before you paint on it. I've got a little blue left in my brush, so it's kind of blue, but that's okay. I found while I'm playing around with these techniques that sometimes if you leave the gesso pretty thick with like chunks in it, I'll hold it up so you can see it better. But you can kind of tell, like you can see where the brush strokes were. Some of them are pretty raised up there. Then it looks really cool sometimes when it dries, like with the watercolor in it. So we'll give it a shot. And then I'll try to do this one a little bit more smooth for the sake of showing the difference between the two. And at the end of this, I'll also show some examples of things that I have watercolored with these methods, you know, before this video. So yeah, just trying, I mean, honestly, like, I'm pretty impatient, and I'm not very particular, so it suits me to leave lines in my gesso, because it doesn't bother me, but it may bother some of you. And honestly, like, I'm feeling really impatient right now as I'm trying to smooth this out, but that's okay. We're doing it for the example, the pursuit of art science. Okay. you can see this one is a much smoother paint. So I'm just gonna let these dry and I will come back. I'm probably gonna speed up the drying with the heat tool off camera. So I will be back in a minute. Alright guys, I'm back. I've just used my heat tool to speed up the drying process. So you can see this is the textured one, and it is a little blue from my paintbrush, but that's just laziness. And then this one is the smoother one. I also want to say I'm not being sponsored or paid by Michaels or Jane Davenport or anybody. I just personally really like these products, and just an FYI, if anybody ever does want to give me products, I am still going to tell you how I actually feel about them and not, you know, make things up to satisfy people who are giving me freebies. So, just an FYI, I am not being sponsored. Okay, so the first technique that I want to show you guys is called the packaging technique. It is very easy, and it's called the packaging technique because you literally use clear packaging from, you know, scrapbook supplies, like stuff that, you know, comes in this clear plastic, and rather than tossing it because it's not recyclable, you can use it for this packaging technique. So I just have a little bin of these kinds of things, and yeah, just to use for this purpose. So how you do this, I'm probably going to use blue on this one because it's got some blue. It's got some blue in the gesso. So what you do, get some water in your packaging, you just brush it right on. And I'm gonna open up my other guy here. You make sure your brush is a little bit wet, obviously, to use your watercolors. There's still some gesso in here. Hang on. Okay. And I'm just going to take this 70s eyeshadow, is what this turquoise is called, and you just paint it directly on the packaging. I personally think like the more water you get, the cooler it looks. Get some more water here and grab Butterfly, that same blue that I was using before. And you can do the colors separately or at the same time. I'm just going to do them at the same time and just drip some water on there. Okay, so you can see nice messy packaging. Now what you literally do is, got cat hair guys, flip it over, smush it. Smush it on your, sorry if I bumped the camera, on your paper. And then just pull it up. Doesn't that look so cool? This is like, minus that drip at the bottom, this is like exactly what I always wanted my watercolor to look like, but did not know how to do it. So you can see this is the textured one. You can see the ridges from my paintbrush. I don't care, I think it looks cool. So let's put this on the smooth one as well. Just put a little more water. And these watercolors clean off really well, so, you know, I'm never too worried about mixing my colors on the black of paint. But, you know, if you are, do it the way you do how you do. You do you, boo, right? So just drip some more water on here. I don't know that it's really necessary to drip more water. I just do it because I really like when it, you know, really goes everywhere. And you can like press it down more to try to get like a color, like a big stretch of color, or you can just, you know, set it down and kind of get messy, you know, more of like a less solid sort of look. Let's see, what else do I want to do? Let's put a darker blue on. I'm not sure how you say this color name. Nereid? Don't know. Somebody knows, you could tell me. It's a nice dark inky blue. Dark inky blue is like one of my favorite colors. So you notice I'm not cleaning this off at all. Just putting the new color on, adding a bit more water. So this time I'm just gonna like stick it down and pick it right back up. I'm not gonna spread it much. So doesn't that look super cool? I think it does. I love it. I'm gonna get some more. Same color for this other one here, and drip a little water. So now we've got like several colors of blue kind of hanging out. Got some splattery looking stuff, got some, you know, inky, flowy sort of stuff going on as well, and I love it. I'm gonna kind of rinse this on a scrap. And I'm just gonna get a new piece of packaging. Let's do another color. Cats, please don't fight. I'm going to try this Enchantress, which is like a super dark emerald green. It's like another one of my favorite colors. It's so pretty. Fun fact, just bought a swimsuit from ModCloth that is, you know, more or less this color. And I love it. It's gorgeous. Okay, got my Enchantress green. And I'm going to add that to the top. Got it on my mat. It really doesn't matter, but soak it up with some paper. I'll clean this later. Okay. Oh, hey, a paper towel. Cool. I was very prepared for this. Can you tell that I just kind of go with the flow? All right. Just a little bit more on here. So, I'm gonna put that there. And yeah, just kind of mix it. If you don't let the colors dry in between, they will kind of blend, which is really cool. Like, honestly, maybe you want them to blend. I'm just gonna put some more water on here, not add any more paint, but just kind of see what happens if I kind of try to mix the colors a little bit. Ooh, look, it's like turning kind of aqua. I like that. Whew, look how pretty. And I'm going off onto the ungessoed side because, like, honestly, Duchess, hey, little clumsy bear. You say hi? There's Duchess. She's trying to get on my table. You're a stinker. You're very cute, though. I'm gonna put you down over here so you don't get paint all over your paws, which has happened before. She has gotten paint all over her paws before, and I've had to chase her because it was acrylic, and I didn't want it all over the carpet. Anyway, you can see that this kind of turned into like a teal aqua color, and also you can do this without gesso. It doesn't really matter. And honestly, some people have asked me, because like I've done some Project Life cards like this before, and they kind of crinkle up. They're not really flat. They're kind of wonky. I don't really care if they're wonky, and honestly it happens on watercolor paper, or not watercolor paper, but mixed media paper as well. So sometimes I don't gesso, and sometimes I speed up the drawing with a heat tool, and sometimes I rip things by accident because I'm not patient and I don't like to wait. So, you know, do what you want to do. That's just kind of, you know, my personality. You may decide, like, dear Lord, this is messy, I don't want to do it. That's fine too. But you can see like how cool this is. You can still sort of see those brush strokes, but they're, you know, this is the smooth one, so it's pretty faint. And I didn't blend the color to be aqua. And this is the one with the chunky brush stroke, so you can really see it there. But I think it looks pretty cool. There's a cat hair stuck in it. I got it. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. And, you know, sometimes you get splatters. It's awesome. I love it. So, yeah, that is the packaging technique. Super easy. I hope that you guys enjoyed it and are able to try it on your own. And if not, thanks for watching anyway. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye. Okay guys, I wanted to give you a quick update. I actually was mistaken about my old watercolors, so I wanted to clear that up before I go on, because refilming this whole thing is just going to take too much time. So these watercolor that I had painted with before are actually from a high school art class that I took, so they're very old, but they're not the ones that I got from Paper Source. I think these are actually better than the ones that I bought at Paper Source. I found them when I was looking through my things. These are the guys from Paper Source. So I will try to correctly link these below. I don't know if I can find the ones from my art class, but just to show you that I'm not just like totally making stuff up, I'm going to show them in comparison to the others. Yeah, these are way worse, way worse. Sorry that my head is like in all these shots. I apologize. But I want to make sure that I get a good color for you guys. Oh, geez, see that blue? Ugh, this drives me bonkers. Like, it's not fun at all. It's so... I'm gonna try it again. No, it's still really grainy. So again, this is on the watercolor mixed media paper. You can just, I think you can kind of see all those pigments. They're picking up in this water, and it just looks so grainy, and it dries that way. So it's I just feel like it's impossible to make flowy like some of the other ones are. Sorry guys. See how grainy that looks? I don't know. I mean, I know it was only like $10, but it's just so frustrating to me. Anyway, moving on. This is not to say that you can't successfully use watercolors that are not as expensive. That is certainly not true. For my personal preference, I just found this brand that I purchased frustrating, and it wasn't performing well, and I'm really enjoying these nicer ones that I splurged on with the coupon. So totally up to you. Just wanted to share my experience. I have now gessoed another piece of paper, and I wanted to show what it looks like if you use the packaging technique. Use that one. With different colors all at once. So just kind of show what that looks like. I'm going to use this kind of light purple. It's called Mystic. I put quite a bit of water on my brush to get the color, but I'm not going to put any more water on. I'm just smushing. I think I'm going to try to get the rest of it off, even though I think it looks good, because I don't really want to deal with a ton of excess. So now let's try pink. This one is called Fairy Tale, and it's kind of a magenta, like a reasonably dark magenta, kind of, you know, purpley magenta. How many ways can we describe the color magenta? All right. And, you know, I can add water to this, which I haven't cleaned. It's still got purple and pink on it. And if I want more movement with my color, I can do that. Just pick it up, move it, pick it up, move it. That way, if you get those like dry, sort of patchy pieces, you know, you can address that with adding a little more water, you know, because watercolors are kind of chalky, so you can see like some of these spots look kind of chalky, so just adding more water takes care of that. Okay, I'm gonna do another color. This one is called Royal. It's a darker purple. So again, I'm using quite a bit of water like with the paint itself, but I'm not adding water to the packaging. Smish, 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 smish. And now you can see like it's really got that chalky, streaky kind of look. It looks dry. So I will add some more water, but it kind of like gives you an element of control. You know, it sounds kind of funny, like controlling water is not super easy, but if you're hoping to sort of, you know, like capture it all in one area first and then add your water later, it really doesn't work too badly to do that. You probably want to go easy with the dark colors because they are more potent. I'm gonna add some more pink, but I'm gonna do this one. It's called Best Friend. I'm gonna try to keep it in one corner so it doesn't get too much of that dark purple in it. And I'm gonna smush it. There's still quite a bit of water in here from when I put the purple on, so I'm just getting it into the packaging and moving it around. So, yeah. What else? I'm gonna add some darker magenta, which is called Frida. Probably like Frida Kahlo. I think Jane Davenport had a mini class on drawing, painting little Jane Davenports, little Fridas, which is kind of fun. So I'm just gonna add this pink. Just gonna give some more color variation. So yeah, you can see how fun that is. It's really kind of splattery and cool looking. And again, if you want more movement and melding and flow with your colors, just get your water on your packaging and all of a sudden you've got a lot of water movement, which is really pretty cool. And it's a little more harmonious if you don't like the chalky splattery look, which I like both, but this is just kind of to show how easy it is to change it if you've started and you're like, ugh, I don't like the way this looks. So yeah, that's the packaging technique with different colors and different amounts of water. You can really do so many things with this technique, which is really fun. I decided this video is already very long, so I will show you a couple things that I've done with the packaging technique from my 2018 Goals album. So I did the packaging technique here for just part of it, and then I put a lot of watercolor on my paintbrush and kind of dabbed it here and there where it was already wet from the packaging technique, and then I just let it drip so you can kind of see this cool dripping texture. I did the packaging technique here with a couple different colors, and then I also let it drip because I'm a fan of that look. Here's a yellow, and here's one that I've just done in kind of a teal green color. So yeah, that is the packaging technique. Some of my thoughts on watercolors. I will be happy to share some more tips coming up really soon. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Again, I'm not an expert, but I'm having a lot of fun experimenting and adding this mixed media layer to my documenting. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have questions or comments, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.